Hey folks, welcome back to my RC little portion of my channel. I've got my Traxxas 2.0 4Tech that I bought in September, at the very beginning of September. Wanted to get something, just fun to play with. Traxxas is really a complete package. It's easy to go find them pretty much everywhere. They look good. They function pretty well. The downside is, buying a Traxxas vehicle is, a lot of people are like, buy the Traxxas vehicle and then gut it and rip everything out and put something else in it, which that's lame. That sucks. When you get older, or when I get older, I get a little bit more sensible, and that's like, I bought this and I just want to have fun and run it. I don't want to have to go in depth and replace everything to get it how I want it to perform. That way I just should have gone and bought a different vehicle, like maybe the ARMA, ARRAMA, one of those vehicles, paid another $100 in additional price than this, and just had that. They make really good RTRs, and people that say, you can't buy an RTR, they all suck. Well, there's plenty of good RTRs, ready to runs, that you don't have to dump everything out of it and spend a lot of time and money to upgrade it. I tend to think Losi is another pretty good company that makes some good RTRs. And for those doubters, I bought this was back in 2009 or 2010. I bought a Team Associated SC8E, and the E is the electric version of that. Purely, simply amazing. It was indestructible, other than so much power, and that it was delivering to the wheels, so that, when you had it all turned up, you're wearing out drivetrain parts because of the power of that motor. And that's fun. That's fun to buy a new drivetrain, because your motor's cranking out so much power and it's wearing that stuff out. But see, you get to use it while that stuff's wearing out and you're having fun. It's not just buying something and immediately taking that stuff out and going, I got to buy something new and put it in it, spend another $300 or $400 and put it in it to get it to run right. Back to this vehicle. So what I'm doing, the Traxxas vehicles from when I bought a Slash 4x4 back in 2008, 2009, an Ultimate, I was like, I want to buy it. It was cool. It had cool ads. I mean, it seemed really cool. With short course trucks were kind of new to the scene then, and that was 4x4, and that's what I wanted. But that motor too, back in that Slash 4x4, overheated, and the ESC overheated, and I was just running it on 2S, if I remember, because it's a long time ago. Traxxas vehicles just have quite a few shortcomings. That it's just hard to look past, but you can. It is a fun vehicle, and I'm having a blast with it, just for general use. That said, so I need to, now it's pretty much the identical motor and probably really similar ESC. They really haven't done much to change that overheating and effect, or the outcome. So I went to Traxxas and I bought a heat sink, and it was in this package right here, and that's $34.58, and it specifically fits the VLX motor, the correct diameter, and it's supposedly a really tight fit. So, but I just wanted to talk to you real quick, because I have heard about putting thermal paste between the heat sink and the motor. I've never done it. There's not a lot of videos as far as doing this to a heat sink on an RC vehicle to increase the cooling or the thermal conductivity of the heat sink. But what I'm going to do, so I just stopped at the electronics store here in Plano and got this. And so I'm going to coat the motor with a brush and coat that with this here, this paste, thermal performance paste, and then I'm going to push that on, and that should make this heat sink become actually like a part of the motor. And so the motor is going to transfer more heat efficiently to the heat sink. Sink is to extend the surface so that more air can get to it and blow across it and suck that heat away. So with a Corvette body on my Traxxas 4Tech, a beautiful body, another reason why, the Traxxas products just look really good and they're really appealing to buy. Even have a nicer one on the 3.0 version. It has a see-through window there, and then they have a motor underneath it, and it's a lot more detailed and probably a heavier Lexan plastic, and instead of stickers, it actually has parts built into it, maybe screwed from the bottom, that actually are three-dimensional and real And I think you can add lights to that too. This one you can't. You'd have to cut all this up. But so getting back, I have to get airflow across my heatsink. But so I'm going to have to cut a slit in the front windshield about that big. And then I'm going to have to cut something here in the back rear window. And then I may even come in and cut a portion of this rear portion, this painted or sticker out right there, so there's good airflow across the heat sink and the motor, and then I'll see results. But that's what this video is going to be about, and I'm going to go ahead and do this stuff while you're on camera here. All this stuff is not something you really want to get on your fingers from what I was instructed. Oh, it's messy. It gets on things it's very hard to remove, including your hands. Okay, well, we got it managed to get it on there and cleaned up around the edges, because that stuff's going to attract dust and dirt like a real true magnet. And I should have the room for my wires to bend down to the side. I think it's a success. We'll see how it works. It's supposed to be really, really good stuff at helping to transfer heat. Yeah, here we go. I'm going to just put everything back together. One is a limited slip differential. This is more like an open diff. So putting thicker weight oil or thicker weight grease or silicone oil in the rear diff makes it act more like a limited slip differential. And that's what you want, is a limited slip differential. Drag racing, you want a locked differential. All right, just to show you, got it all back together. It wasn't a big disassembly, but this little plate right here, I do like Traxxas, how everything is modular, and that is a neat thing. I've always kind of liked that. The rear end comes apart separate and the front comes off, and then you have the center. But the little covers, it's just very clean, very neat. I had to come in here and Dremel this area out just a little bit more, because the heat sink doesn't allow for that smaller space right there. So just took my Dremel, came in here, Dremeled that out just a little bit, and really had to press it past this heat sink right here, and then fit that down and hide those wires, keep them from flopping around, and then come back in and tighten them up. So that's it. Everything's ready to go to be run now. Minimally maybe 15 degrees cooling difference would be very, very beneficial. Maybe, you know, at the least 10, at the most 20, but we'll see how that heat sink helps, along with the hole in the front windshield, and so the wind can come across, the air come across the heat sink and then escape out through the back of the body, where the hole that I'm going to cut in the rear window in the back. Also too, my little stand, just made out of wood, coated in a rubber coating, just scrap wood that I had. And your vehicle sits on that, and it doesn't slip off very easily, and then your wheels can be worked on, and it sits a little bit off the counter. Just something I do, something that I make, and it just doesn't cost me anything, instead of buying a $30 stand. Now we're back out at my favorite little spot. That's usually where I run back up there a little bit. But now I'm going to come over here a little bit. Seems that the concrete joints are a little bit smoother. Thanks for joining me today. It's a new day. Look what I got. There's my car all modified up on the body. I'm going to take a closer look at that. All right, like I mentioned, I did the modifications late last night. I think they look okay. I do not like cutting up the Corvette body, but you can see I did a stellar job, as I usually do. Very precision cuts, rounded corners, so you know no cracking can phase the body. The downside is, yeah, you can see in there, I may paint the inside of the body black, but now it's going to get airflow into that front windshield, across my heat sink, and right out the back, right there. Now let's run the car and see for 15-20 minutes, probably 20 minutes, and bring it in and measure the motor temp and the ESC temp. It's below 180 in the 170, 165 zone. Hopefully so. Here, across my fingers. All right, got it out. I'm gonna do just a couple of world laps. A lot so that you can keep your game running. Woo! 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 Takes a second, a moment of concentration lapse, and you are spinning it. Sway bars seem to be helping. That diff fluid between 40 and 50,000 K in the rear is helping, apparently. It looks like it's doing really good. A lot more controllable. A couple more minutes and we're going to run it over and put the heat gun on it. 120C, of course. Under a minute. Also, too, just to mention, I got these little clips that are upturned years and years ago. Makes it a lot easier to put those clips on because you have something to hold on to. Got those at the hobby store. Pretty cheap, but definitely something you want to have. Okay, the big reveal, the big moment. 137. The heat sink, the motor right there at the end, 143. The ESC was 133, 140, 138. ESC, heat sinks 141, The top of it is 141. The back of the motor is 144. Huge improvement. Let's see what the battery is. The battery's 101. Wow. So there's a result. Last time, a little bit warmer, probably closer to 90 when I was out here just a few days ago, and that motor was 180 degrees, and I had taken about 2 or 3 minutes to get the body off and measure that. So the temps dropped down pretty quickly, so that was up at least past 180 for a little bit, and the ESC was running still pretty cool, about 140, 135. So no problems here now. I think it was a huge bonus from doing this, and I didn't destroy the body too much. You know, to look at it, still looks pretty good. That takes a lot of precision to cut those straight lines, and I'll just share, I have a Dremel tool with a wand on it that was bought for me in college in about 1998. Yes, 1998, and I still have that Dremel in almost 2025. So we're 25, 26, 27 years old. I've got a lot of the same attachments. I use that thing religiously through all these years. So amazing little tool to have, the Dremel with the wand with the little business end where you put the bits, and it allows you a little bit more flexibility to go in and do those types of things. But I think it was a huge success. I'm very stoked about this, very happy, and hopefully you found my video informative or entertaining at least. And if you did, be sure to leave a like, and if you want to, subscribe. Helps the channel, as everybody on YouTube knows. Bye-bye. Thanks for tuning in.